Hello, my beautiful Capricorn friends, and welcome to your horoscope for January of 2023. We're Capricorn. First of all, friends, happy birthday. Happy birthday. I hope that your annual year is starting off like you're tapped in. You kind of feel the power in the direction that you would like to go. And I also want to say in the same breath that if it's not feeling that way for you, if it feels very slow this year, or you're kind of like, do I have it together? That is just commonplace right now. We've got Mars retrograde, Mercury retrograde, Uranus retrograde, and of course they're coming out of retrograde this month, but they're not there yet. So if you're not coming into this birthday year feeling like, party like it's 1999, right? Like, that's fine. It is okay for you to be exactly where you're at, Capricorn, and I make space. I make space to hold you where you're at your birthday time. But I do also want to start out this forecast by reminding you that coming in this year to birthday season is nice and slow. We are edging in because we have to see what needs to be edged out in order for Capricorn to get set up for success as we move through the rest of the year and the years to come. So really, I got a good talk for you going for this particular January month, and I'm going to tell you up front too, while I believe that January Capricorn has a lot of healing to offer, you might have to encounter some of your own discomfort on what you're going to start saying no to and where you're going to start saying, yes, help me, in order to really, I think, have some success. And the review of the retrograde time that we've been in, I think, will very much so support this. So let's get in here, birthday beauties, and talk about what's going on this month, okay? So first of all, on the 2nd, we've got Venus moving into the energy of Aquarius. Now, Venus being our planet of attracting in, okay? It's attracting in the Aquarius zone, which is, first of all, very social. It's a very social set of characteristics you're going to need to use under that Aquarian vibration. Now, this is in your 2nd house, along with Saturn being here. So truly around your money, around the values that you've built your life on and that you're going to stand on, around your financial life in general. I think that you've been doing a lot of crystallizing, a lot of growing, a lot of maturing in this particular area to understand what you're going to do and where you are at in your particular scheme of lessons is to the degree of how uncomfortable I think this Saturn experience has been here. Okay, if you had a far way to fall in those lessons of learning what does it mean in your finances and what does it mean when the plan doesn't go according to plan and you did everything you were supposed to do but it doesn't look exactly the way you wanted it to. What does that mean? How quickly can you recover? 2, you've done the things and you're having the best financial experience you could have ever had in your life, but also what do you do when you have the best financial period in your life? What's next? Both set of lesson spaces are left with a question. And the question is very Aquarian. What is me? Where do I have freedom? Where do I have influence? What's my own unique voice in my value structure? I think that's something that this Venus coming in here is helpful to. But Venus is also bringing a salve to the Saturnian energy in this space, right? It's like, yes, it's all serious. We do have to grow. We have to make these changes. Some of them are uncomfortable. Some of them are so fantastic and we're ready for them, but it's not all hard all the time. Right? Venus brings in some ease. Venus brings in unconventional ways that maybe you can make money. Unconventional people or people of influence that you get connected to who can help you make money, who show you and teach you about your value structure, who are, you have a space where you no longer feel like you're fighting with your finances in some way. You're no longer fighting that money vibration. There's a real freedom that Venus is trying to bring in around that, and I welcome that for you 100%, my Capricorn friends. Now, when we get to the 6th, we're going to have a full moon at 16 degrees of Cancer, okay? This lights up your 7th house space, so right across the street, relationship dynamics, conscious chosen one-on-one relationships to include your open enemies, right? So you can see who's at the table of who you're choosing to hang out with. But I also want to put your relationship of you with you in that box as well, Capricorn. And this full moon is saying you need to end something, acknowledge something, or make an adjustment. An adjustment has to be made here because what we've got going on may not be as emotionally fulfilling as it could be, or this relationship has gone as far as it can and it has been good. It's been so delicious. Thank you so much. And also it's time to move on. I think that this full moon really, we call it the wolf moon, gives you a lot of space to understand. It's in harmony with Uranus and this transiting North Node. So whatever you end, acknowledge, or adjust, Capricorn, whatever you do here, you're releasing or changing the dynamic of it to move towards your destiny. So it's very much so a point in the month where I would call you, or I would invite you to understand that you got to say yes to something, and it means you'll say no to something else. And that you got to say no to something because it's not as emotionally fulfilling as you thought in order to say yes to something else, right? What do you really want in your relationship life? What revelations have you had that have made you say, I don't want to just hang out in these relationships, whether it be business, whether it be with yourself, whether it be in your marriage, whether it be with the universe. I don't want to just hang out here. I want to grow. I want to grow. I want to have an opportunity to expand. I think that's what this particular full moon gives you the opportunity to move into and then to be fulfilled. But also to remember that when you have a relationship lunation, there is no way for you to be fulfilled being by yourself. And don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying you can't be single and happy. What I'm saying is in the relationship dynamic, when we seek to understand instead of being understood, and when we pour through charity into the cup of others because we remember what it was like, then our own cups are refilled. And this is the nurturing piece, Capricorn, that I think your earth is calling out of you. So let me know how this lunation shows up for you. I'm really very curious. On the 12th, we see Mars coming out of retrograde at 8 degrees of Gemini, okay? Now, we've had Mars retrograde in the energy of Gemini. First of all, we've had Mars in Gemini since August, and then it started to slow down for that pre-retrograde shadow energy in September. So really the window of September until now, what information have you garnered in your daily routine? Where is your daily routine? You've had to reassess it. You had to reassess, like, what are the current things in my life? Who are the current people in my life? What do I do on a daily basis? And you've had like a reassessment. And how do I approach that? How do I do that? How do I structure that? What's my strategy around that? Your health, your well-being, including your mental health and well-being, your daily tasks of cleaning your house, putting your laundry away, your workout, your fitness, your practitioners that speak into your life. Maybe you're caring, you're in a care role for a pet, for a person or something like that, and you've had to reassess or relearn. Lots of learning has come in at this time to show you how to do this area more effectively. Now, as Mars is out of retrograde, I think you can feel like, okay, this is the real daily routine. This is really how things are going to go now. We were in practice mode, but now we're in, and you can make some more decisions and take some more actions with this Mars retrograde. To further help that, we're going to see Mercury coming out of retrograde and coming direct on the 18th as well. And this is in your sign. So what you think, how you speak, decisions you're ready to make, things you've been pondering about you, perceptions that you've had about yourself, Capricorn. I think these have all had a really big change at this point. You know, you just got done having Saturn run through your sign and change you and mature you and get your attention from tip to toe, you know what I mean? Like, you have had a relook at how you are Capricorning on this planet. And so making different decisions for yourself, but consciously making the decisions. I choose this for me. I choose to be in this relationship. I choose this work, and all of the ownership that comes with the statements of your being responsible and accountable for your life and reaching out to learn new things, reaching out for help. I'm struggling. I need help. This is also a part of the Mercury structure. So I ask you, Capricorns, all of you, Go back to December 12th of 2022. What was coming up for you about you? In your information zone, right? Where decisions were coming to your table that you needed to make. And maybe where were you even rebelling a little bit? Like, I don't know if I need to ask for help, if I need to talk to somebody, if I need to make a decision now, right? What was spinning about you that now, as Mercury is direct, Mars is direct, you're going to need to take some action on, and you can, and you are empowered to do so. Remember, you said no to something so that you could say yes to something else. And that is really the sign of the maturity that I think we're coming into January with. As we get to the 20th, we see the sun moving into the energy of Aquarius. Now it's bringing light, heat, life, and vitality into your financial zone. And right behind that, we're going to have a new moon happening at 1 degree of Aquarius. So planting your seeds of intention for, new and maybe experimental, unexpected, eccentric, innovative, renovative ways to make money, to bring income into your life. Definitely things with technology. If you're not tech savvy, Capricorn, I am telling you right now, get on the bus, get on the YouTube, start learning how to do daily things in the tech space. We are in the digital revolution. Come current the best that you can. Ask somebody younger than you. Aquarius is a young energy to come current with you. Aquarius is also the energy of astrology, so it's a great time to be listening and to peeking in on what's going on in your astrology for the next year. But the other thing I want to say is that there's a real there's a real desire or a real energy, I think, this month, Capricorn, in this Aquarian vibration for you to improve your self-worth and your self-esteem, and to understand that. And that may come through unconventional resources. And it doesn't mean that, you start hanging out with a completely different group of people, but it's maybe that you didn't understand the value truly of who you are and what you have to offer, because you just hadn't thought of it like this. Right? It's always been here, but you just didn't see it, or you didn't have that perspective. And now a perspective at this new moon can be presented to you, and you really get to see the value in that. I love that for you this month. So let me know about that too. On the 22nd, we see Uranus coming out of retrograde, coming direct at 14 degrees of Taurus in your 5th house energy. So children, joy, play, conception of new ideas, right? And it's Uranus energy. So it's maybe really different than what you were doing before. Maybe you have landed in a completely and entirely different career, or you've had to change your career, how you make money, the relationships in your life than you ever have been in your entire life, or you ever thought you would do. And it's probably tech heavy, right? And you have an opportunity to joyfully greet it, because you realize it will bring you freedom. Uranus, freedom of resource, freedom of movement, freedom of relationship, freedom of self-esteem and value, right? There's a lot of freedom that you've been edging towards in this 5th house, and also freedom of how you love. This idea that everybody has to be single, married, have children, not have children, maybe that looks very different for you, and you have found the model that brings you joy and freedom. Maybe you want to be married and have two squirrels, and that's how you'd like to nurture children in your life. That's fine, as long as you found out the freedom that works in your realm. Now, also in the 5th house, we just think of children. So truly, Capricorn, is something going on with your children? Or is there a surprise, something unexpected? Have they been going through their own bashes of breaking a rut and moving towards their own freedom as well? And some of that freedom could have been very Taurus for you. It could have been a little bit expensive, right? So it is possible that this is something that happened as well. But whatever it is, it was about, breaking down what has been and moving towards what's next, and also allowing hurts and harms to rise to the surface so that you could deal with them, as well as the gems and the minerals of skills, talents, and abilities and resources that you have that you didn't know were down there to come to the surface, and now you can make use of them. As we close out this month on the 26th, we see Venus moving into the energy of Pisces, lighting up your 3rd house space along with Neptune in this space. So, take it easy, Capricorn. Take it easy. Venus is exalted in the energy of Pisces, and this is your 3rd house, the space of the mind, right? Forgive yourself for the stories that your mind has told you about who you are in your life. Forgive yourself. Pisces is a space where everything is everything, right? We can tell ourselves stories of shame, blame, guilt. And it can be in the same housing area as the places we tell ourselves the stories and we have the experiences of spirituality, healing, and creativity. It is a place where our minds too, though, in the third house can seek to tell us stories that keep us separate from our fellows, right? They create a space of seclusion. It can also be the same place where we go to healing. So I think that as Venus is traveling through Pisces until February 20th, I encourage you to remember that Venus is incredibly powerful here and seeking harmony and seeking healing to bring everything together in your mind that is you, in your communication zone, things around siblings, maybe you're buying, maybe you're selling something. Venus is attracting the healing into you to have these conversations of the light and the dark, and to bridge them together, because in the great womb, everything's everything. We need our light as much as we need our dark. We need our harms as much as we need the good things that we've got going on as well. So there's a lot of compassion that comes to this third house arena for you. Now, in a very practical way, it could bring contracts to you if you're a freelance person, if you're an independent person, right? Or, it could bring conversation. Maybe a phone conversation comes to you from someone from the past and you get news about some kind of transition or culmination that has to do with that person. So keep that in mind as you're experiencing this Venus and Pisces energy, okay? All right, my beautiful Capricorns, it's going to be an incredible month if you allow yourself to walk through the door with such an attitude. But wherever you're at, I hold and support you in your lessons, whatever they may be manifesting. And remember, you're right where you're supposed to be. And we know that because it's where you're at. So work on the lessons where you're at, not where you think you should be, but where you're at, okay? All right, I love you, my beautiful friends. I'll see you in February.